What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the FG Podcast. I am here with Eris, Parsa, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. J. Jasser. Today, we are going to be discussing basically the top 10 flops, worst transfers of the last decade. All right, so what I asked was the boys to compile their own lists of top 10, and then we did it with a point system. You would then combine all the points together. The player that has the most points is going to be the biggest flop, essentially, at the very end. So without further ado, I have in front of me honorable mentions, like I said. Okay, so in number 14, with 1 point, we have Bonucci to Milan. Okay.
Damn.
The only person that had Bonucci in 10th, Jasser. Jasser had Bonucci in 10th.
It was one of those transfers where it just horribly didn't work out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like if you look at like the amount, I think it was like 40 something million. Not that bad. He went to Milan, became their captain. 1 year only. Did really bad. They all did really bad that year. And then he just went straight back to Juventus.
Yeah,
Like
it was
in my
terrible.
books, that's just like,
Yeah.
it's just
The
like,
thing is, I
don't
remember
know,
that he scored against Juve as well, and he did his celebration where he's like, "Wash your mouth."
The face stuff.
Yeah. So like, yeah, no, I can.
and he
I
went
can
right back.
Yeah, and then he went.
But he
straight
went back
to
for
them.
like 35 million though. Like I'm looking up a transfer market right now.
Money laundering scheme right there.
Yeah, I mean,
What else?
Why else would that transfer happen?
like sure they
And also,
lost
such a
money.
cheap-
Yeah.
They
Dude, it's
recuperated some of it, right? I mean, 42 million euros. I'm looking at transfer market. Something I've been looking at when I was like making these decisions is like you look at the player's market value at the time.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
And then the transfer fee, because it's like how much are you overpaying for?
But yeah, Jasser had Bonucci at number 10 with 1 point. Okay.
So that's 14th.
That was 14th.
Okay.
Yeah. 13th with 2 points is Drinkwater. All right. So Drinkwater with 2 points.
Drink water.
To
That's
Chelsea.
crazy.
Drinkwater.
From Leicester to Chelsea, Parsa had him at 9th. Drinkwater, 38 million. Parsa,
Dude,
why did you
this-
have him at 9th?
went-
Because
Cheap
okay, from what I remember is there was he had that amazing season at Leicester, right, where they won the league. Chelsea gets him, and I think he has like a horrible season. He goes on loan, and I recall when he was on loan at this team. I forget the team, but like he gets into a fight or
Oh,
something
my
at a
God.
club, at a nightclub. He has an accident at a nightclub or
So
something.
because he got into a scrap at a nightclub, he's
Dude,
9th in year.
he
Damn,
gets
bro.
he gets an injury. No, he gets an injury that he doesn't even play anymore or something like that.
Oh.
I remember that, and
Oh,
I
damn.
think I think like he was just completely useless to Chelsea.
Yeah, no, it was a failed transfer.
Complete failure. But it's just like I think like the fact that you put money towards someone and they go
Yeah.
on loan and then they just get into a nightclub accident is just
Not fair,
hilarious.
yeah.
If
Fair.
you ask Chelsea fans, I think he'll be up there in their list of.
They probably don't
Well,
even
Well, and they
remember.
got way worse. Don't
Useless,
you
yeah.
worry.
12th, we have 3 players that made 12th actually. Neymar, Pogba, and Arthur Melo for 3 points, okay? Pogba went to United, Lamar went to Atleti, Arthur went to Juve. Okay, so I had Pogba at 10th. Eris did not have Pogba. Jasser had Pogba at 9, and then Parsa did not have Pogba.
Firstly, we let this guy go for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. We bought him for 89 million.
That's
he comes
pounds.
here, has like one of the most streakiest players I've ever seen. Sometimes on his day, unbelievable.
Yep.
Other days, he's a donkey. He's horrible. Like, come on now. Like, he's just like, it's ridiculous watching him play. Like, the amount of times I was watching this guy, and what like pisses me off the most about him is like, you know, he has all that talent. He literally has everything in his locker room, but he has
Yeah.
such a horrible attitude. He has problems with coaches. Like, he's just a diva. Like, he dabs all the time. Like, I don't know. Like, he's just so distracted from the game of football.
Don't lie,
That-
bro. When he was dabbing, you were probably doing that at school as well,
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, like, listen, like a 1-2 maybe, a 1-2 maybe when he's. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't feel like he was concentrated enough
Yeah.
in the game of football, and he let us down. Let's just be real. Like, it was a failure of a transfer for the price tag and for the potential and the player quality that he has. In my opinion, he was a failure of a transfer. I just thought really highly of him when he came, and it was just utter disappointment from him.
He was
man.
like a
I was
top 3
done.
talent when he came, man. Maybe
Bro, he was
maybe even-
unbelievable.
He was
I
insane.
was so
At
hyped
Juve,
on him.
he was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was insane.
I mean, like I think the price was almost like the thing that hurt was that we let him go on free. But let's just forget. Let's say he didn't come from a United Academy. Let's say he was like La Masia. Let's just make Gents Day, right? And I think at like 100 million for that type of player, like yeah, so that's a little too much, especially going back to like what
At the
was it?
time, though.
At the time, 2016, 20, like
Yeah.
100 million now is different with like the way the market's gone. But like his market value right now, again, I'm looking at a transfer market back in the day for that time. was 70 million, and we paid like 100, 110, something like that.
Yeah, but I can't just go based off of that always. Like, you guys bought him for that amount, and then he literally went for free while having disputes with different managers, while being iffy on and off as well. His form. Also, he casted a voodoo spell on you mans as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Bro, me and Pogba got something similar, bro. I
yeah,
got that
so
voodoo spell on Barca.
chill. So yeah, I placed him 10th just because, like, to lose him for free and everything that Jasser mentioned as well. I wouldn't say that he was like a terrible signing, but like 10th, 9th, I think that area is.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
What sucks is he did have those flashes of brilliance, and two games that stand out to me is the 4 assists against Leeds. I think
that was the first game of the season.
That was insane. And then the 3-2 comeback against City to stop
City.
them from
Yeah, he scored 2, I think.
Those two,
crazy,
he scored 2.
Man.
Those 2 games, like those flashes of brilliance, is like if he could do that, he doesn't have to do it every game, but like let's say 2 out of 4 games, like even 50%, that would have made your team so much better. It's just that,
bro.
It was, but he was also stuck in this rebuild of Manchester United.
Yeah,
you know, like yes, like I'm not trying to say like he wasn't to blame for the way he acted, the way he was in the dressing room, or the way he was inconsistent sometimes. But it was also not the most consistent team in general.
Fair. Yeah, Pogba 12th, like we said. Lamar was there as well. Lamar,
I had him at
Ayers had him at 8th, and that's pretty
little
much
rundown,
it. Yeah,
quick little rundown. 72 million from Monaco to Atleti. He's still there, draining their wages. By the way, first season 43 games, 3 goals, 6 assists. The next season 0 goals or assists in almost 30 games, which is ridiculous for that kind of price paid. Season following that, again similar story, and then you get into I think it was last season, he has 23-24 where he ruptures his Achilles and he hasn't played any games, and he's still on their books. That's ridiculous to me. Like 72 million for getting nothing for how many years now? So.
Fair. Yeah, no, he was one of the names that I looked at as well. So the last person in 12th is Arthur Melo, the swap deal with Pjanic. Who had Arthur Melo?
I had him.
You had him at 8th.
Yeah.
So Arthur Melo was 81 mil, and the Pjanic, I don't even. That was money laundering. I can't lie. That was Bartomeu doing whatever he was doing.
From an accounting perspective, it was money laundering. I'm telling you.
But Parsa, why did you have him there? Just because of the money laundering?
Dude, like what? He went for like 70, 80 million plus that, like whatever.
Like
trade
he was
that was
81, and then the Pjanic trade. Yeah. So
yeah, and then what did he do? Like he went to loan on like 3-4 different teams or something.
And then he was just shit. Yeah.
And then he went to Liverpool, which was like a really bad loan. I think it collapsed.
Now he's at Fiorentina. Apparently, had a decent season with Fiorentina.
He did. He played consistently. He played a lot of games. But I think for Juve, it doesn't matter. That doesn't help Juve's case.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Honestly, having that, like at the time when I saw that as a Barca fan, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Barca. I mean, I think you got your money's worth for that.
No, bro. Still, I wouldn't like at that time. I think he was a great talent. Me personally. Really? Yeah. So this is our last honorable mention before we get in the top 10. 11th is Joao Felix with 6 points. The only person that had Joao Felix is Aris at number 5.
That's crazy. Y'all had him.
Quickly.
So 127 million euros to Atleti. That first season, again, 36 games, 9 goals, 3 assists. For that price tag, ridiculous. But also, it is Atleti, so you have to understand, like, their strikers aren't... It's not the Atleti of old with the strikers that they had, like the Agueros, the Forlans, the Falcaos. It's not that. The 3 seasons following it were similar stats. 40 games, 35 games. Once again, around 10 goals, 5 assists or 6 assists per season. Then gets loaned out to Barca and then Chelsea. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, for that money, that seems like a waste of money to me.
That's a decent shout. I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably had Felix in their lists when they were compiling it. All right, so now we're going in the top 10, boys, okay? So, number 10 with 7 points is Mr. Alexis Sanchez. Who had Alexis Sanchez, you will ask? Well, the only person that had Alexis Sanchez is Mr. J. He had Sanchez at 4th. So Sanchez was 34 mil plus the swap with Mkhitaryan. Jasser, why did you have the piano man at
he was making 500k a week, just so you guys know.
Oh, that's crazy. I should have factored that in.
Dude,
yeah, but Jasser, why'd you have him 4th?
I didn't look at his stats. Like, I forgot what his stats was, but I don't even have to like look at them. I remember there was like single digits, like 2-3 goals. Like, do you remember how good he was at Arsenal?
Yeah, he was great.
Literally the year we got him in the winter transfer window. He was amazing. He was like sensational. The year before that, he was Arsenal's best player by far. Like, he was so good. We get him for Henrik Mkhitaryan, which in my opinion was a mistake because Mkhitaryan, in my opinion, was pretty decent for us. He wasn't bad at all. Like, he was, him
and Ibra won you guys the Europa League.
Yeah, dude, like Mkhitaryan was good. I was like, but at the time when we got him, I was like, oh my god, we're getting Alexis freaking Sanchez, one of the best players in the Prem. And it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, price tag 35 million plus a swap, whatever. But it's just you fail to live up to the standards that you like set yourself.
Yep.
Right. And it's one of those things. And it's just like, as a United fan, I was like so disappointed again with him. I was like, we gave him the number 7 jersey as well, and he just spat on it like he was useless. And then you literally see his like interviews after. He was just like, I want to the first training session I have with United, I call my agent, can I go back?
I've seen that. Yeah.
Like, bro, like it's just one
You
of
don't
those
rate
things
that,
where it's like, no, like I rated him when he came, and then like a few games in, I'm just like, oh god, what is this? What is this, man? Like, I think he had like one good game against City where he like assisted. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, man, like it's just one of those things that didn't work out, and I just feel like he was one of the worst players for us when he came. Like, he was so bad, man. Like I can't even put into words how bad he was.
Not fair. Yeah.
Like, it's just
He came in 10th, and like I said, it was just because Jasser had him at number 4. Okay.
No one else had him, bro.
Now we're gonna be now we have 7, 8, 9 basically, because these 3 players got the same amount of points. They got 13 points. Now the players are Ousmane Dembele, Pepe, and Kepa. Who had Dembele? I'm pretty sure.
I had him at 6.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all had him. So I had him at 4. Eris had him at 6. Asser did not have Dembele with what I see. And then Parsa had Dembele at 10.
Looking at Dembele, the reason I had him here, and I was going to say, and I didn't have like a Neymar deal, for example, even though Neymar was way more expensive, strictly just looking at that injury record, because people give Neymar a lot of like flack about that. But Neymar has actually played more games, missed fewer games and played more games for PSG in that time span. And also resale value. Barca, what did you guys get from us? 50 mil?
Yeah.
50, yeah.
right?
It was 50, yeah.
And like,
I'll take that.
It didn't seem worth it. I don't know. I mean, no, yeah, you guys made some money, which is great.
Not yet.
That's a waste of money for somebody to be injured for.
It was like 90 like
141 games missed.
Yeah,
oh my god.
141 games missed.
He was injured, Bear. That's the main thing for me. Why I had him in the list. Out of all the Barca signings, I think he was probably the worst one in my personal opinion. Yeah,
3 seasons worth of games.
And then what he's remembered for is literally those misses against Liverpool as well, bro.
Oh my god,
like,
those misses against Liverpool.
You know what I mean? So, and then
the way he left too.
He had some attitude problems as well towards the end, like how he left and everything like that. We did overpay for him at the time because everyone knew that we had that Neymar money, 200 mil. So everyone just jacked up their prices on steroids. And I don't even think he was worth that amount of money that we got him for. I think it was like 130, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, Dembele, like clear shout to be in this list. Let's go with Pepe. Parsa had him at 7. Jasser had him at 8. Eris had him at 9. I had him at 7.
I can just talk about it quickly. I mean, this guy had like 1 or 2 pretty decent seasons at Arsenal, but then just went ghost, right? Like he went to Turkey, I think, for a few seasons, and he just left on a free. Yeah. He's like, dude, I looked him up the other day. He's like 29 or something. He's still like relatively long, like young. That's an insane flop. So I had to put him on the list. Yeah. We've seen what happened with him. So I think it's a very justified, that 8, 7, 9 position. I think it's justified,
especially for that price tag, 80 million. And then
I feel like
he had 1 good season from what I have here. It seems like it's 2021.
I feel like the price tag. I feel like the price tag was maybe a little bit too expensive, but I feel like at the time with what he was doing in France, like I don't know, it seems a little bit justified to me personally at like what he was doing at France. Like he was a big talent coming out of France, no?
He was, but at the same time, like there are going to be flops, right? Like for every Camavinga and Chouameni and Mbappe that come out of there, there's going to be a Pepe.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing for him as well, he was an Emery signing, right? And then Arteta came in as well,
right?
And he just
right.
Yeah, so we'll see how he does. Like you said, he's 29 right now. He still has a few years in him. I think he literally transferred to Villarreal this summer. I'm pretty sure.
Was it Villarreal?
Really?
Oh, he's in La Liga now.
I think so, yeah. Honestly, he can do decent there. I think Spain could be a good fit for him. Pepe, good shout. And then Kepa. All right, so Kepa, who had Kepa? I had Kepa at 3rd. Eris did not have Kepa. Jasser did not have Kepa. Parsa had Kepa. Kepa at 6. So I had him at 3rd. And then Parsa had him at 6.
Yeah. How do you guys not have him?
Yeah,
I have other worse players to discuss.
But like, I don't know. I felt like I agree with you, but I felt like we had to put a goalie in there just for like diversity. And honestly, he is the most expensive goalie of all time.
Bro, what he did to Sarri alone is a reason
these are
enough.
Like DEI, like diversity, equity, inclusion. Like
what he did to Sarri alone, bro, with the penalty or whatever, I had to put that brother in there.
Fair
80 mil, and he's a flop, bro. Like I was watching La Liga at the time, and he was, in my opinion, he wasn't anything special as well. So
he's the most expensive goalie of all time, right?
Yeah, like
Ederson or Allison was 2nd.
I think so. Yeah,
Buffon should still be up there. I mean,
Buffon is up there. Yeah,
legend.
Buffon was like 60, I think, and that was crazy at the time.
That time.
That's what I'm saying.
Completely was worth it. But yeah, this was I mean, it speaks for itself, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, 6th with 18 points, we have my Barca boy, Antoine Griezmann. Okay, so I had Griezmann at 8. Aris had Griezmann at 10. Jasser had Griezmann at 5. Parsa had Griezmann at 3. Griezmann to Barca was 120 mil with what I have here.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to briefly talk about Griezmann?
I don't think Griezmann was necessarily like horrible at Barca, and like we talked about earlier, Copa del Rey, he was very important in that. He would come in clutch in some games too, and he was playing a little bit like out of position in that team as well. But I think the biggest reason for me why I put him in there is that he was kind of in that era of signings that really put Barca in an uncomfortable financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
That was it for me. That was the reason why I put it. I think it wasn't so much as a player. It was more so the impact that he had on that team. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like those types of transfers that Barca had in those years, and that like the effect it had on the salary and everything on the team, was one of the reasons why Messi couldn't. Like, I mean, I know that like Messi had different reasons for why he.
It was a build up.
It was a contributing factor, right? In terms of like why they couldn't afford Messi. I'm not a big Messi fan, but seeing Messi leave Barcelona, I mean, I'm a huge Messi. I love Messi. I'm not a Messi fan at Barcelona because he destroyed my team, but Messi's a GOAT, and seeing him leave Barcelona just felt so unnatural going to PSG. And
it was mostly because of the big wages all these players got when they were coming in.
And I hate Barca for doing that, and I really do. And that's why he was so high for me on the list. He was third.
So I just want to add the reason why he was so low for me on 10. The sum and the wages is obviously a huge factor. The reason I had him so low is because, as you guys mentioned, he was being played out of position, mostly out on the left. But not the first season, but the second season he did improve. 33 goals and assists for a guy who's playing out of position, playing in the weaker squad's not bad, and now he's back at Atleti still doing his thing and bossing it. So it's not that he was a bad player. It's not like he regressed.
The reason that I had him low at 8th as well is just I think it could have been like right player, wrong time, just because he played in a similar role at Messi at the time, where he was always just going into the central areas, and then because of that, we had to put him left wing. Yeah, that's why I had him relatively low. I think he was all right with Barca. I don't think he was like a total disaster that some people would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, it was just like I think the fee was a lot, but the main reason why I had him so high was I feel like Barca didn't need to sign him. Like that much money, if you're gonna put Barca in debt, right? Like that's one of the reasons why it happened. Like spend it on a player that could have impacted the team a lot more. I'm not saying again he's a fantastic player, right? He went back to Atletico, it became unreal. Like he's one of the better players in the world now. We could say like he's amazing. I feel like he's one of those signings where it's just like, okay, let's make the fans happy.
Yeah.
Let's like get a big name in. And I just feel like it wasn't the right thing to do. And then there you go. As I said, the fee was ridiculous. So that was like my main reason why I had him so high. As a Man United fan, I know a lot about signings just to please fans. It's just not the strategy to go with at the end of the day, and that's why we haven't won a league.
We're coming up on the next one, don't worry. That's a great follow-up for number 5. Number 5 is the fidget spinner, Antony, with 23 points, okay? So I had Antony at 6, Aris had Antony at 2, Jasser had Antony at 2, and then Parsa did not have Antony at all. So I'll let Jasser go quickly about Antony.
Let the United fan talk about it.
I'll let Parsa go after as well why you didn't have him, so you can explain the reason. But yeah, Jasser, go ahead about Antony first.
My boy Antony. Let me.
Wait. Let
me start from the beginning.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have his jersey?
Yeah, I was getting there. Perfect. Let me start from the beginning.
You should have worn the jersey, bro.
Brazilian right winger at Ajax, unreal. Like, oh my god, the way he was playing with flair, panache. Those highlights, bro.
The highlight merchants.
So badly. In a time where Man United we're like, yo, we need some inspiration and stuff. I'm like, bro, we're getting a Brazilian right winger who's doing well in the Champions League. What a player, man. What a player. Comes to Man United, scores 4 goals in the first 4 games, and I'm like, God, you know what? I'm getting his jersey, bro. Let me get this guy's jersey. Oh god. My
man's having non-flashbacks.
In my life, so firstly, he's 96 million. He's stupid. One.
Yeah.
His attitude is ridiculous. This guy is on the sidelines. Don't know, whatever.
Man with just like
fidget spinning, no game knowledge at all. He can't pass the ball well. He can't get past someone well. He can't shoot. Like all he does is cut it on his left and shoot it over the bar. He's stupid. I already mentioned that. Let's
what's that got to do with the player?
I'm mad, all right, bro. I don't know what you want to say,
That's crazy, bro.
And then let's not get into the off-field issues as well. Like this guy was an absolute disaster. Right now, there's a reason why we're trying to sell him. And it's also a reason why no one wants him. He's ass. He's useless.
Fair.
I can't believe it's tragedy of a transfer. That's why I have him at number 2. I have him over like all the other Man United like failures. Because like in my opinion, this has to be our worst signing
Ever?
post Fergie.
Oh,
Post Fergie, easily our worst signing.
crazy.
Absolutely useless. God
All right.
damn. All right,
Okay,
I'm done.
Parsa, go. Why did you not have him?
Well, I said in the beginning, I refrained from putting players that are recent transfers within the last 2-3 years. He's 24, you know, he showed that he can be great in the Dutch league. I don't think he sucks. I think like he does have like certain I think like talent wise, he's not a poorly talented player. Let's be honest. Like IQ, sure, I understand that. He makes stupid plays. The little like twisting he does and stuff like that just makes you want to turn off the TV. But we still don't really know how he can fit into the plans. I think we have to give it a little bit more time. But I just didn't want to put him in my list because I had him, mudryk, other people recently, even like Caicedo, like
Fair.
Enzo, like these guys have not really proven themselves for the huge fees that they've gone for, but we don't know yet. So that's the reason that he was not on my list.
Not fair, yeah. I think that's fair. Maybe within the right system, he can add a little bit.
He can be very direct. He can be a threat, man. Yeah.
I think he can add value. I think if you get a fullback that overlaps with him, especially.
Like, I don't know how Xerxes and Højlund are going to fit into this system still. They're so young, but I want to see him with a proper striker and like how he's going to play off with it.
I completely get where you guys are coming from, but when you're just shit, you're just shit. Like I don't know how else to put this. Like,
do you still have his jersey?
Save it for the next episode. You can burn it live.
Like my closet or anything, but
during
so
one
you
of the recordings,
you still have hope then, bro. You still have hope.
He has hope. If he pops off, you're gonna put that on. You're gonna be like, I always said Antony was great, bro. I never said anything about him.
I'm not gonna say always Antony's good. If he pops off, I'm gonna be like, this man has surprised me like no one else has ever surprised me in my life. God bless his soul. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I feel like, you know, one thing. I'll say one thing.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad for bro because like he's a meme now. This guy is an absolute meme. Like he is known.
That's partially due to you, bro.
For being a meme.
You be sending Antony in the chat bare times, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's just funny.
Yeah, no.
It's really, really funny.
All right, no,
but
fair
yeah,
enough.
This guy.
Okay, so from one United man to another. 4th place, Maguire with 25 points. I had Maguire 5th. Eris had Maguire 3rd. Jasser had Maguire 6th. Arsa had Maguire 5th. Maguire went to United for 87 mil from Leicester. I'll let one of the
80.
Okay, I can go
euros.
First.
I'm talking about euros. I do euros. So
87 million euros.
87 million euros. Yeah. So I'll let Parsa go for Maguire first.
Okay, so if you look up the most expensive players, like transfers of all time, right? Like I'm sure like you guys have all done this. If you go on Wikipedia, whatever site, you look at the names of like the people. Like there's either like huge talents like Neymar's, Mbappe's, Ronaldo's, or it's people that are like very promising young talents that maybe haven't proven themselves so much, like an Enzo or like a Felix. But then you see Maguire in there, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like he wasn't like a crazy superstar talent, and he also wasn't a very proven player. He comes to United and he is just a fridge. The second the ball goes over this guy's head, for the time it takes for him to turn his body and to track his man, the ball's already inside the net. His passing abilities in the back is just so inconsistent. Every time he gets the ball, man, and you're a United person watching it, your heart skips a beat. And I didn't put him higher because, to be fair, he does have this drive for United, and he does have this willingness and passion to fight for his spot. And
it's that wage money, brother.
It is that wage money, I understand it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that do get that wage money, and they don't care. Like Sancho.
Like Sancho? Anyways,
right?
let's not discuss.
So I don't want to get into
match.
that, but the only reason I didn't put him higher was because of those positive aspects of his personality. But yeah, that's mine.
If you just Google, you have endless compilations of him messing up. And then one game that always comes to mind with me, I'm not sure, Gent, if we watched this together or not. Spurs 6-1. Did we watch that together?
I think we did, yeah. He was
that
at fault for like 2 or 3 goals, no? Something like that.
Like, that was crazy. I'm like, how can you justify paying that man that much?
Bro, I remember when this guy scored against Albania in a friendly.
Bro,
and then he shushed mans or something like that, or I don't
like,
remember.
Bro, you're scoring against us. You're acting like we're some, god tier country.
Yeah, bro, it was insane. But yeah.
Anyways, that's about it. I don't want to get
too into anything on Maguire fairly quickly?
Well, I placed him at 6th. I think the reason why he gets a lot of hate and a lot of like he's justifiably he's not like the best player in the world. I think the price tag is really a big factor into it. Like I don't think he's terrible. He's worth like 30 million, something like that. Like that kind of range. Like he's not an 80 million player.
He'd be good for Norwich in the championship.
Let's remember he was pretty decent for Leicester. Like, I'm not saying he's 80 million worth at all. Like, we're stupid for paying that, but he wasn't like that bad. But like, I've screamed at my TV many times for Harry Maguire. But he has like some redeeming factors. He's very good in the air. Sometimes he can ping a pass. It's not consistent enough. 80 million is ridiculous. You know, he cares about the club. He wants to stay and fight. And I mean, Southgate has a hard on for him. This guy's in like every single England team, right? So
He's decent for England.
Can't be. Yeah, he's decent for England as well, so I can't justify putting him.
Fair. I had him at 5th. 87 mil for Maguire is atrocious. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Considering what VVD went for as well. And Maguire's just shit, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, in my opinion, he's just trash, man. This guy, the amount of mistakes this guy makes, it's like every time that he has the ball, I'm not even a United man, but I'm like in fear of what's going to happen. He's decent for England. He's okay. But again, I think a lot of England fans hype him up as well with England, where he's like, oh my God, just because he can score like a header because he's like 6 feet tall or whatever. I think that's the worst center back transfer that I've ever seen. Now we are going into our podium, okay? So in 3rd place with 27 points, we have Coutinho. So Coutinho, I had him at 9. Harris had him at 4. Jasser had him at...
Wow.
Yeah, Jasser had him at 3. And Parsa had Coutinho at 1. Okay, wow. Honestly, I'll start with Coutinho. The 3 main ones for Barca are Griezmann, Coutinho, and Dembele. We all know that. I feel like Dembele was number 1. Right. So 135, he was probably one of the best players at the time. At Liverpool, he was killing it. 135 is a stretch for him. I do understand that. The only thing is, we had an aging Iniesta at the time. Okay, so Iniesta was like 30-something. He was going to leave. So a player of Coutinho's profile was like a good purchase for Barca. He played, he started, great like 6 months, I would say, where he formed a trident with Messi and Suarez. He scored against United as well, one curler, I remember that, in the UCL.
Why mention that?
Because I remember that goal specifically because it was like an important goal. I think he was the right player that we needed. I think when we started playing him at the left wing for whatever reason, that's when he started to plummet. I don't know. It could just be a little bit of bias as well, just because I really, really loved Coutinho, especially at Liverpool, and I had such high hopes for him at Barcelona. Maybe that's why I placed him only 9th. For me, it's between like Griezmann and Coutinho are interchangeable for me. You can switch them however you want, but yeah.
I just want to add, so the reason I have Coutinho way higher than Griezmann, obviously the fee is a little bit higher, but what does it for me is the fact that you guys loaned him out to Bayern.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. He didn't knock us out.
What?
He scored the last 2 or whatever it was.
It's fine. I'm just saying. So listen, doing that, winning the UCL, then I'm sorry, that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, especially for that price.
That's disrespectful, bro.
That's disrespectful.
I could have.
That is why I also had him.
I could have had him. I could have had him out here based off of that, but yeah.
The price alone obviously is ridiculous, but adding that into it makes it so much worse. Where like at least even with Dembele, with like the whole PSG stuff now, where he like acts all big against you guys and then disappears for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But Griezmann, for example, at least he's not doing these kind of things. That's why I had him a little bit lower. And also, he did kind of contribute a lot more in those 2 seasons that he was at Barca.
It kind of has to do with the points I made with Griezmann. Kind of like the beginning of the poor financial decisions you were making for your team. Gets moved to a bad position, gets loaned out, goes to Bayern, does that. He ends up at Aston Villa, bro, for 20 million euros. That's still 100 million euros down the drain. The thing that hurts me the most is I loved Coutinho, and he was I liked him more than Suarez at Liverpool.
Yeah, he was sick.
He was probably one of my favorite players watching at Liverpool. It was the beginning of the end for him. He just went downhill right after that, and I just hated seeing that. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. But again, the fee was ridiculous, and he just he started to go invisible after that. So that's why he was so high up on my list.
Just one last thing. I think the reason that I have him so high is because I'm looking at my list again. Is probably because like in terms of player talent and the price that they're worth, I feel like Coutinho would be the one that's the highest priced one
like justification?
At the time. Yeah, because I'm looking at the other ones like an Antony, like a Maguire, you know what I mean? Like the money that you're paying for them, I don't think it's like justifiable. For Coutinho, 135 again is through the roof still, but I feel like if you were trying to buy a player, you would be buying a Coutinho for, let's say, like 100 mil or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was one of the best players at the time in his roles.
He was.
Last 2, boys. All right, in 2nd place with 30 points, we have Romelu Lukaku. All right, not to United, Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea. Yeah,
thank you.
So the reason I didn't have the United one ahead is because they made money back off of the Inter sale.
Exactly.
Whereas the Chelsea one,
So to Chelsea, 113 mil is what I have here. Now, Lukaku,
Yeah.
I had him at 2nd. Harris had him at 7. Jasser had him at 1. And Parsa had him at 4.
Okay.
Lukaku.
Donkey Lukaku. Let's start off with Mr. Lukaku. He comes to Chelsea after having such a great season with Inter, wins the hearts of all these Inter fans, fan favorite. They're like kissing the badge and all that. Like, this guy balled out for Inter, right? Chelsea win the UCL that same year. Lukaku's like, let me go back to Chelsea. Let me just screw everyone else over that I was there, right? Goes back to Chelsea. Starts off all right and barely makes a team after that. So what's he gonna do? He goes, has an interview with someone, and he starts saying, I want to go back to Inter. I want to go back to Inter. I don't respect players like this at all, right?
Like Ronaldo. Anyways, continue.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But it's just, and how much was the price again? It's a ridiculous price.
113.
113 million
Okay,
euros.
yeah, like he didn't justify that at all. Like he started getting benched after that.
Yeah.
And then flirting with Inter while he's at Chelsea. That's another huge reason why I'm having him at number 1. And then he goes right back to Inter. Like,
And cost them the Champions League.
bro, misses a sitter against City, but
He was so bad in that game.
he's one of those players, in my opinion, he's like a diva. Like him and Pogba, right? They're like boys. They like conceive all this like diva like movements or whatever. Like, bro, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, and I know a few Chelsea fans. They hate his guts. They hate Lukaku's guts, man. And that's why I have him at number 1. It's like not just the fee. He was bad, the fee, and his attitude. There's like 3 big factors. And
not too much that really. The fee was terrible. He
Yep.
had literally 1 season at Chelsea, went back to Inter on loan, didn't do too well. They went to Roma, right, on loan, didn't have like the greatest. So I don't know, just didn't make sense. Like unlike the United one, he had a decent first season, not
First
the
was pretty
greatest
good,
second season. They recouped the money back because they sold him to Inter. So like at least with that one, it nullifies itself. This one, there's just no justification. So
All right, that was our second. And now, the moment of truth. Number 1 with 33 points. I'm going to enjoy this. Eden Hazard is number 1. Now, I had Hazard at 1. Shocker. Aris had Hazard at 1. Jasser had Hazard at 7. And Parsa had Hazard at 2.
Josh, you better start talking, bro, because you're an
That's
outlier.
listen, man, I'm
You're
gonna be
an
honest with
outlier
you.
right
Hazard.
wait,
Sultan
before
got in your head, bro.
No. Like, listen, I have a very fair reason for it.
Can you move your webcam? I want to make sure there's not a gun to your head from Sultan.
Now, go quickly. Why? If he won the UCL, I don't want to hear it. But anyways, yeah.
I'll tell you what. Eden Hazard, he came from Chelsea, right?
Mhm.
Fantastic player.
Wait, what was the fee?
Unreal.
1 sec.
120.
Oh my god.
120 million
Ridiculous,
euros.
yeah.
Yep.
Dude, like obviously, look, it was a failure of a transfer, but we need to actually consider why he was really bad. A game against PSG, this guy got injured really badly against Munir. After that, he kept on recurring that same injury over and over and over again, and he just couldn't handle it. And I feel like, personally, if that injury didn't happen against PSG, this could have been good, man. This really could have been good with that.
But we don't live in a
around
what if
him, like,
world, though. That's the unfortunate thing.
I get that. But in my opinion, that's a big factor, man. Like, that's just unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, right? Like, come on now. Like,
I don't know. He was also lazy.
Dembele and the Neymar stuff.
No,
They didn't
I
get
agree.
those
Look,
injuries. They
was-
could have been.
Yeah, man. But like, he was like
This guy would
lazy.
come
He
to
could
training
have
fat,
recovered
bro.
better.
He gained, like,
yeah.
If my
50
grandma had
pounds.
wheels, she would be a bicycle.
Bro,
but
No,
Exactly.
look,
I think
get
a
where
lot
you
of
guys are
Madrid
coming
fans
from.
were also really pissed off at him because he just, even though he got injured, he almost like kind of lost that like
He
fierce
gave up.
mentality that he had, and he kind of gave
Yeah,
up.
he did, and that's on him.
It was like Bale with like the whole golfing thing, like like he came. Bale was insane the first few years, and then it's like, oh, he's just like playing tennis, golf. He's playing every sport that there is except
But I mean,
like
Bale at least contributed.
Yeah, no, like,
when
at
it
least
came
he
to, like,
contributed,
the
exactly,
UCLs
but
he
and all that.
contributed heavy, bro.
heavy.
Yeah,
No,
because
for
like
sure.
I just want to read quickly like the stats that I have. Hazard in the 4 seasons that he stayed at Madrid played 76 games. That's what, a season and a half, maybe, right?
It's like a
'Cause,
full season nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays, exactly, with like the crazy stuff. Like that's ridiculous for 4 seasons for 120 mil.
Pedri played that when we used them as a bar of soap, bro. 70-something
Exactly.
games.
So like 76 games in 4 seasons, that's ridiculous for 120 million.
Yeah.
I don't know what his wage packet was like, but like
Insane
also,
too.
He was
It
on
would've been
insane
insane.
wages, yeah.
But also it is Madrid, so you can't like.
But the other thing for me, Hazard as well,
about
like the age that they got him in for that amount of money, bro. I'm pretty sure he was pushing 30 when they got him. So
He was
29?
28. He was almost 29, and he was
Yeah.
getting.
29, bro. 120
Um,
mil for a man who's 29.
They doubled his salary from Chelsea to £400,000 a week.
That's the thing, yeah. So
Oh,
you pay
that's
that
crazy.
that amount of money for that age, and then he has that amount of appearances where he doesn't contribute. Like again,
I
like
just think it's stupid because you don't buy like wingers. Like everyone knows this, but like except like a few select specimens like Ronaldo and Salah and these guys, wingers, like you want to be careful when you're buying them when they're getting close to 30.
Yeah.
Because the second they start to lose that pace and that edge that they have, like it becomes really hard to justify that price point.
Yeah.
Look,
Especially
I
the burnout
completely
there.
agree with you there, but like, and I know this is a complete what if world, but like, dude, that I think he just ruined him,
Bro,
that injury, like,
bro,
and look,
if Antony scored goals, you wouldn't call him shit.
no,
That's
man,
the thing.
what I'm trying to say is like, bro, like, look,
I know
I agree that
it's to no fault of his own, but
yeah, he could no, but then he could have definitely had a better attitude and came back stronger. I get that's a factor as well, but it's just again, yeah, it's a what if. I know it's probably not like the best reasoning.
We
in
have
the world, but,
Dembele
like,
in there because of the ridiculous
Yeah,
injury
no,
record. So
I get it. He's still on my list, but like that to me, when I was thinking of Hazard, I was just like, bro, like I just felt bad for him, to be honest. I really did.
when they bought
That's
him
why
as
I
well,
put him
bro, it was after Cristiano left. It was like, oh, yo, he's gonna not replace Cristiano, but like,
that's a fact.
you know what I mean?
He'll fit into that role.
Didn't he
Hopefully,
get
is what
what
they're
number
hoping.
did he get? Did he get 7 as well?
He
I
got
think.
to 7. He
Yeah,
got to 7.
so you know what I mean, and that was a time when Vinny wasn't like popping off. Still, he was younger.
Yeah.
Hazard is the reason, like Hazard's decline and everything is the reason Vinny got his chance, right?
Yeah, but yeah, bro. Like I personally had him at 1. Eris at 1. Parsa had him at, what did I say?
2.
You had him at 2, yeah, and then Jasser had him at 7. So if Jasser had him higher, it would have been like a clean
blowout,
sweep.
yeah.
It could have been hard
because he was ahead of Lukaku by 3 points overall.
I feel sick after this session.
There you have it, guys. That was our top 10 flops of the last decade. Unfortunately, a lot of the Barca mans, but a lot of the United mans as well. More United mans than Barca mans, if we're counting. But
if we're counting.
who's counting? Anyways, let us know if we missed any names. Let us know what you guys think of the list. From me, Eris, Parsa, Jasser, everyone from the FG podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode, okay? Take care.